Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
We are pulling up a chair at the judges' table today, putting on our, analytical hats. We're diving deep into the world of Food Network's Chopped. It's enduring, it can be brutal, and honestly, strategically brilliant sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like so much more than just watching chefs frantically cook against that clock, right?
Right.
When you actually dig into the sources, the interviews, the critiques, what happens behind the scenes, you see it's this intense crucible. It's almost designed to test their absolute fundamental skills.
That's exactly what we want to get into today. We're aiming to go beyond just the drama, the TV aspect, and really understand the dynamics, like the physical demands. The taping schedule sounds nuts.
So it is.
And the ingredients, some are just bizarre, maybe even dangerous sometimes. And then there's the whole money thing. That $10,000 prize hasn't changed in, 16 years?
16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got some really good stuff to look at here. Detailed recaps, some great profiles on recent winners.
Yeah.
People using that title to do big things in their communities.
Yeah. Right. And also some sharp analysis about those baskets getting harder while the prize just stays the same.
Exactly. So it's really time to figure out what being a Chopped champion actually means today. What's it really worth?
Okay, so let's jump right in with the people who've actually conquered it recently. Let's look at the thrill of victory and maybe how that title actually launches careers.
Perfect place to start.
We kind of have to begin with the champs, right? Because their stories show how that win translates into real professional power. First up, Chef Chelsea Green Ogletree. She won the Superhero Chef episode. That just aired recently, I think.
Yeah, it did. And that theme, superhero chef, is kind of telling, isn't it? It signals right away they're not just looking for technique. They want chefs with a real community connection.
And Chef Chelsea sounds like she totally fits that. From Georgia, right?
Absolutely. Her win wasn't just about her food, which sounds amazing, very soulful, Southern style, but about the actual difference she's making locally.
It's fascinating how she balances things. She's the executive chef at St. Joseph's Catholic School in Macon. So she's doing this healthy lunch program for students.
Right. Feeding kids, empowering them.
While also running her own catering company, Her Majesty's Kitchen and Catering. That's some serious versatility.
It really is. And that win, it led almost straight away to this big professional recognition. She was named a 2025 Georgia-grown executive chef. That's where you see the TV win turn into structural career movement.
Okay, tell me more about that Georgia-grown program, because it sounds like more than just, a nice title. It sounds official.
Oh, it's definitely official. It's a big deal. It's run by the Georgia Department of Agriculture, and they partner directly with the Georgia Restaurant Association, the GRA. And the whole point is basically economic development through food. They want chefs to use fresh, local Georgia ingredients. So the program connects top chefs like Chelsea straight to the farmers, the producers, the suppliers in the state.
Wow. So it's not just a pat on the back. She's getting plugged into a huge network, potential suppliers for her businesses, and visibility that's backed by the state government. That's serious infrastructure.
Precisely. The Georgia Ag Commissioner, Tyler J. Harper, even gave her a public shout-out, talking about how important it is to have chefs dedicated to local sourcing representing the state.
Right.
And think about who she was announced with for the 2025 class. This was at the GRA's big legislative event. She's alongside some real heavy hitters in the region's food scene.
Yeah, let's name some of them just to show the level. We're talking Joey Ward. He does innovative Southern food, right?
Yep. And Carlos Granderson, Alan Byers, Jamie Keating, he's a master chef, Willie Woodybeck, Joshua Sweeney.
So being in that group, getting recognized at that level, especially with state backing, that does way more for her career long-term than just the $10,000 cash, I'd imagine.
It really seems like it. It makes you think the cash is almost secondary to getting that title, getting that professional validation and network.
Okay, and speaking of validation and resilience, really, there's that other story, Meg, from season 61, episode 12.
Yes, Meg's win. That was intense.
Yeah, that recap really hit home the physical and mental toll this show takes. She was portrayed as someone really fighting to break through barriers in the industry. Her win felt super emotional.
And her fight was literal, wasn't it? The recaps talked about her incredible resilience after she cut her finger pretty badly.
Right. She kept cooking even though she was bleeding. That's wow.
Yeah, battled through it, refused to quit. And, the judges, being industry veterans themselves, they see that kind of grit. That resonates. That's the kind of thing that sticks with viewers, sure, but also potential employers or investors down the line.
So for Meg, yeah, the $10 pay was probably great, but it sounds like it was more symbolic, like a breakthrough moment, proving she could handle anything thrown at her, getting that validation on national TV.
And that's kind of the secret sauce of Chopped, isn't it? It's not just cooking, it's these raw human stories. Like, they even wove in Phil's story about his dad's immigrant experience in that same episode. It's high-stakes cooking, sure, but it's built on these really relatable personal journeys.
That kind of resilience, cooking through an injury against the clock, it really makes you wonder about the actual physical experience. Let's pull back the curtain a bit on what these champs actually go through.
Yeah, the intensity of the shoot itself.
So Chopped started way back in 2009. The format seems simple on the surface. 3 rounds app, entree, dessert surprise ingredients, judges critique, someone gets chopped. Simple.
Deceptively simple.
Right. It airs Tuesdays at 2 p.m., but the filming schedule, that's where it gets rough. We heard from Maui chef Daniel Lipson recently. He gave some good insight.
Yeah, he did. He confirmed just how much of a logistical challenge it is for the contestants.
He said it was a really fun experience, which is nice, but he was also kind of shocked by the intense 2-day taping. And just think about his trip flying all the way from Hawaii to New York.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's dealing with major jet lag, probably lack of sleep, and then bam, straight into this high-pressure competition. That exhaustion is almost part of the test.
The sources suggest these are like 12, maybe 14-hour days on set. Day 1 is orientation, safety stuff, pantry tours, maybe some practice.
And then day 2 is the full-on filming marathon. You barely have time to prep mentally. You're just trying to survive the schedule. It really forces chefs to rely on pure instinct, muscle memory.
And Chef Lipson also confirmed that golden rule, which sounds so basic, but it's clearly where people trip up. You have to use everything in the basket.
Everything, no matter how weird or gross it seems.
Yeah, no hiding it.
And that rule is the great equalizer, right? It forces them to be creative, stops them from just making their signature dish. But he also pointed out something valuable, the feedback. He mentioned getting good critiques from the judges.
That's interesting. He saw it as useful.
Yeah, he took it seriously, saw it as a chance to make my food better.
Yeah.
For a pro chef, getting that kind of instant high-level feedback, you can't really put a price on that.
Okay, so let's talk about the baskets themselves. Because the general feeling is that over 16 years, they've gotten way, way harder. Like, significantly more difficult. Let's look at that. Season 61, episode 12 again.
Right. Let's break down those rounds. Appetizer, pandan latte, Italian long hots, pancetta, and peaches.
Okay, so you've got creamy, aromatic dairy, intense, spicy peppers, salty, fatty, cured meat, and sweet fruit. That's a lot to make work together in an appetizer.
It really is. And we saw people crash and burn immediately. Vanessa got chopped first. Her pandan sauce and peaches just fell short. Phil tried a daring pandan and coconut soup that apparently didn't quite land either.
What do you think went wrong there? Too sweet with the pandan latte, maybe?
Probably. Trying to force those sweet, creamy notes into a savory appetizer context is super tricky. You have to find a way to balance it, maybe lean into the spice from the long hots or the salt from the pancetta.
Okay, then the entree round. This one sounds wild. Pork blood, purple spinach, branzino, and kunaman ice cream sandwiches.
Yeah, pork blood. With delicate fish. And an ice cream sandwich.
Okay, the pork blood seems like the biggest landmine there. Chef Jeff got eliminated because his pork blood sauce separated, got too coagulated. What technically happens there? Why is pork blood so tough?
It's all about protein management. Pork blood is basically liquid protein. You have to cook it really gently, low heat, often keep it moving, maybe stabilize it with a little starch. If you heat it too fast or let it sit still, those proteins seize up, break apart, and you get that grainy, separated texture, coagulation.
So Jeff probably rushed it, trying to reduce it too quickly under pressure?
Almost certainly. Phil did a bit better, apparently making a pork blood cream sauce. Adding fat, like cream, can help stabilize it, give you a bit more leeway, but still risky.
Even the dessert round sounds like a texture nightmare. Rainbow bagels, longan fruit, pistachio cream, and puppy chow.
Puppy chow, like the Chex Mix cereal thing.
Yeah, so you've got crunchy, chewy, slippery fruit. It's just textural chaos.
Totally. And yeah, Phil apparently had trouble with his long and gel texture issue again, and Meg's pastry was slightly underbaked. The judges are ruthless on those technical details, especially in dessert.
So these difficult baskets, it sounds like they're pushing beyond just challenging now. Viewers online mention ingredients that sound frankly disgusting. Beef bile.
Yeah, beef bile comes up, which, okay, it is used in some cuisines like Filipino or Thai food, but it's definitely shocking for a lot of Western chefs and viewers.
Yeah.
And then there's the infamous one, pig anus.
Okay, so the show is definitely escalating things to keep people watching.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
But this constant escalation, this hunt for bizarre ingredients, it leads to a really serious issue: safety. Sources mention judges actually having to warn contestants that an ingredient is poisonous if not cooked.
Wait, hold on. Poisonous. Like they give them something that could actually harm someone if prepared wrong? Isn't that a huge liability?
It raises some big questions, doesn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, on one hand, maybe they expect high-level chefs to know about obscure, potentially dangerous ingredients. Like certain types of eel blood are apparently venomous if raw.
Eel blood. Seriously?
Yeah, and there was an instance, apparently in a Halloween episode, where a chef was warned about the eel blood needing to be cooked, but they still smeared it raw on the plate as garnish,
No way. Just for presentation.
presumably. Just to follow that, use every ingredient rule and maybe get points for drama. It shows the insane pressure they're under, maybe overriding common sense or safety concerns.
Wow. That's intense. And it all circles back to avoiding getting chopped. You mentioned the judges have these recurring critiques, right? Like, if you want to win, avoid these specific mistakes.
Absolutely. There's basically a cheat sheet based on what the judges say almost every single episode.
Yeah.
5 key things.
Okay, give us the cheat sheet. What are the top ways to get chopped?
Number 1, far and away, not enough acid. Chefs get frantic, they load up plates with rich, fatty stuff, and forget to balance it. You got to hit that pantry for citrus, vinegar, something sharp to cut through.
Okay, makes sense. Number 2.
Under-seasoned, just basic seasoning. They rush, they forget to taste, they forget to layer salt and pepper throughout the cooking. Judges hate flat food, always.
Number 3 relates back to that dessert round, maybe.
Lack of texture, exactly. A winning dish needs contrast. Crunchy, creamy, chewy, soft. If it's all one note, especially mushy, it's boring. They'll chop you for it. You got to find something to crisp up and toast.
4th, the technical screw-up.
Starch, undercooked or overcooked. Sounds simple, but under pressure. Grainy rice, gluey pasta, hard potatoes. Happens all the time. Unacceptable at this level.
And the 5th one ties back to that golden rule.
Right. Using more pantry items than actual basket ingredients. The whole point is the weird basket. You make a nice piece of chicken, but just sprinkle on a tiny bit of the basket ingredient, you missed the assignment. They'll call you out. The basket has to be the star.
Okay, so you've got this crazy intensity, the long shoot, the jet lag, risk of injury, maybe even poisonous ingredients.
Right.
And it all leads to this $10,000 question, which feels kind of small now.
Yeah, this is where the money debate really heats up. It's honestly pretty striking how static that prize is. $10,000 for winning an episode. And it hasn't gone up at all in 16 years.
16 years. Think about inflation alone. What was $10,000 back in 2009 when the show started?
It's got to be worth way less now, like maybe closer to $14,500 or $15,000 in today's money. So effectively, they're paying winners almost half what they were at the start.
Wow. Even though the chefs are arguably a higher caliber now and the baskets are way harder.
Exactly. And if you look back at older seasons, especially tournaments, sometimes $10 was just for winning the first round. The final prize could be $50,000, maybe more. Now, $10K is often the final take for a single episode. We've even seen other Food Network shows apparently decrease prize pools, like some baking shows dropping from $50K to $25K.
So the actual financial reality for a winner. Okay, $10,000 sounds nice for like a day's work, even an intense one. But then taxes hit it hard.
Right off the top.
And here's the kicker I didn't realize. Contestants often have to pay their own travel and hotel.
Yeah, that's what the sources suggest. They're often on the hook for getting themselves to New York and staying there.
So Chef Lipson, flying from Hawaii, that round-trip flight, a couple of nights in a New York hotel, that could easily be, what, $2 or $3 grand?
Easily. So before taxes, maybe you're already down to $7,000.
Yeah.
After taxes, you might walk away with $5,000, $6,000 net.
Huh. Losing chefs apparently get a little something like $1,000 maybe to cover costs.
Yeah, a small consolation prize, it seems. Which is decent, but still, the winner isn't exactly getting rich, especially considering the effort and cost.
Which makes it super clear what the real prize is then. It's not the cash.
No, not primarily. The real incentive has to be the title. Chopped champion.
That's the bragging right.
Totally. It's for life. It goes on the resume. It instantly signals you've got serious skills and, maybe more importantly, you can handle insane pressure. That's currency in the culinary world.
And the exposure, obviously. Millions of people watching, your local news back home picks it up. You get to plug your restaurant or business on national TV.
It's a massive career launch pad. Look at Chef Nico Kagalainen. One chopped, use that buzz and maybe the prize money to help launch his own restaurant, Cultura, in Charleston.
Yeah.
Now it's nationally known, James Beard nominated.
So the $10K was seed money, maybe, but the real value was getting his name and brand out there.
Exactly. And it's also seen as a gateway, right? A good performance on Chopped, even if you don't win, can get you noticed by Food Network. It's an accessible entry point.
Leads to invites for other shows, like Guy's Grocery Games.
Yeah, GGG comes up a lot. And interestingly, the prize money on GGG is sometimes higher on average, maybe around $16,000.
Huh. Different show, different skills tested, maybe. GGG seems more about speed and strategy within limits, like the aisle restrictions. Chopped feels more about pure, maybe bizarre ingredient creativity.
It's a different kind of test, for sure. But the prize difference is interesting. Still, the fact that Chopped can attract top talent for $10K just proves how valuable that exposure and title are.
Especially when you think about how hard chefs work. You hear stories of 80-hour weeks for maybe $90K, $100K salaries if they're lucky. So a shot at $10K plus massive national exposure, that's a gamble worth taking for many.
It's basic supply and demand, driven by prestige. As long as talented chefs keep applying, why would the network raise the prize? The risk is public failure, yeah, but the reward is potentially fast-tracking your whole career.
Okay, before we wrap this all up, there was one more thing we needed to touch on, some culinary language stuff that came up recently. This feels important for listeners, just understanding the terms chefs and shows are using now.
Yeah, culinary semantics. It actually sparked a bit of debate. It was around that carnivore converter episode back in May.
Right. The theme was meat-free, but the judges kept calling the food plant-based.
And that caused confusion online. Some people were like, shouldn't it just be called vegetarian? Others thought plant-based automatically means strictly vegan, no animal products at all.
It shows how these terms are kind of shifting, doesn't it?
Totally. So it's worth quickly breaking down why the judges on Chopped were actually using the term correctly based on modern usage.
Okay, let's define them clearly. I start with the strictest. Vegan.
Right. Vegan means zero animal products. No meat, obviously, but also no eggs, no dairy, no honey, no gelatin. Nothing derived from an animal. Full stop.
Okay. Then the traditional vegetarian.
Vegetarian usually just means meat-free, no animal flesh. But typically, vegetarians do eat other animal products like eggs and dairy.
Yeah.
That's often called ovo-lacto-vegetarianism. It's a broader no-meat category.
Got it. And now the one causing the fuss, plant-based.
So the way plant-based is generally used today is that the diet focuses heavily on plants, vegetables, fruits, grains, legumes. It's primarily plants, but crucially, it's not necessarily 100% vegan.
Ah, okay. So someone eating plant-based might still have some honey, maybe some dairy, potentially even small amounts of meat sometimes.
Exactly. It emphasizes plants but allows for more flexibility than strict veganism. So for the show to call a meat-free challenge plant-based makes sense. They're focusing the cooking challenge on plants without forcing the chefs into the absolute restrictions of veganism, which might make using all the basket ingredients impossible sometimes.
It also shows the network is kind of keyed into current language trends, right? Using the term that's maybe more common in health and wellness circles now.
Precisely. They're reflecting that broader culinary dialogue, even if some purists prefer the older terms. It's about understanding the nuance.
Okay, so what does this all mean? We dove into Chopped wanting to get past the TV drama.
Yeah, behind the curtain.
And what we found is this really high-stakes world where, honestly, the title seems to matter more than the check.
It really does. We saw the personal side, like Chef Chelsea leveraging her win for community impact through that Georgia Grown program, or Meg's win being this huge moment of personal resilience.
Right. And then there's the professional reality. It's brutally hard. 2 exhausting days, crazy ingredients, real pressure.
Physical and mental exhaustion, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're forced into this instant problem solving with ingredients that are sometimes just out there, like eel blood or pandan lattes.
But that high risk, that intensity seems accepted because that Chopped champion title is like an instant badge of honor across the whole industry.
And the low prize money, the fact that it hasn't changed, it's almost irrelevant compared to the career boost from the exposure and just having that title. Maybe the most valuable thing they walk away with isn't the $10K, but the critiques from those top-tier judges. That's real professional development.
Which leads us to a final thought for you to chew on. We talked a lot about the prize money staying flat for 16 years, even as the baskets get way harder, going from tough to, like, beef bile tough.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, is the cash prize in shows like this just secondary now? Has the prestige, that title of Chop Champion, become the most valuable currency? And maybe more importantly, could the show even survive if that exposure, that prestige factor, ever started to fade? What happens then?